product life cycle ends with the disposal and recycle. See, some of the countries, just like that, you cannot set up a factory and then manufacture the way you like, unless you have a management for disposing the waste that is created in the process. As you see, the traditional process difficulties are there are information sharing, seeking approvals, maintaining a single source of truth, the communication during change. These are all the issues that are normally associated with the traditional manufacturing. But in the case of digital manufacturing, you have extra transparencies, the the truth, the true drawings, the true information, the true technology is available at all levels in the product life cycle. Earlier, it is not the case. Only the top management will have the correct information, and whenever a design or drawing is changed, it will be implemented, and the same updated one is made available to all the people who are connected with the product development at all stages of the product life cycle. Therefore, it is called the transparency offered by the digital manufacturing. The very, very important thing in digital manufacturing is transparency. The transparency is very much there, that is always missing in the industrial scenario. And then you have, yeah, anyway, after taking out the important points from that video, now I am going to the next stage, the industrial revolution, in the form of evolving the components. Stage wise, you can see the first industrial revolution is introducing mechanical production machines powered by water and steam, which you are calling it as industry 1.0. This is end of the 18th century. And then number two is industrial revolution introducing mass production lines powered by electric energy, that is called industry 2.0, that happened at the beginning of the 20th century. And then you have the industrial revolution through the use of electronics and IT, further progression in autonomous production, which you call it as industry 3.0, beginning of the 70s. Your CNCs, your NC machine, your FMS, even including your elementary level of sim also can be put in this industry 3.0. And then industrial revolution is due to internet based on cyber physical systems. This is industry 4.0. This is today's technology. And one beautiful thing about this industry scenario is that industry 1.0, you are not there, and India is not there. Industry 2.0, our participation was nil. We were struggling for independence. And industry 3.0, we have simply imported and we were using. Our participation in the development of industry 3.0 is not there. We only understood after it is developed. But when you talk about industry 4.0, India, Indians, maybe all of you can clap once that you are part as Indian, as a country, and as a Indian, you are part of this industry 4.0 industrial revolution development. Many Indians across the globe contributed immensely for the industry 4.0, and we should feel, every one of you must feel proud about this particular development. And then phases of earlier three industrial revolutions are the mechanical production, railways, and steam engines that happened during the stages from 1760 to 1840. And then you have 1870 to 1940, you have the mass production, electricity invention, say use of electricity, and then assembly lines of the fixed assembly lines of automation and all. And then 1960 to 2010, you have your computers, semiconductors, mainframe computers, personal computers, Pentiums, P1, P2, P3, P4, and then internet to some extent also. But when the internet of different levels have come into picture after 2010, that paved the way for Industry 4.0, or which you call it as the digital manufacturing. See, I am giving you directly the names of the Industry 4.0 used in different countries. In Germany, it is a smart manufacturing leadership coalition, a collective term for technologies and concepts of value chain organization based on the technological concepts of cyber physical systems, the Internet of Things, and the Internet of Services. It facilitates the vision of the smart factory. Within the modular structured smart factories of Industry 4.0, cyber physical systems monitor physical processes, create a virtual copy of the physical world, and make decentralized decisions. Over the Internet of Things, cyber physical systems communicate and cooperate with each other and humans in real time. Via the Internet of Services, both internal and cross organizational services are offered and utilized by participants of the value chain. This particular Industry 4.0 being followed in Germany, it builds on the digital revolution, smaller and powerful sensors being used in the systems, machine learning, the concepts of machine learning, ubiquitous internet, and then artificial intelligence technology, and of course, labor and energy cost. These are all the important features of the Industry 4.0 proposed or being used in Germany. And then another important thing that I want to cover or ask you is that technology happens, technological developments happen very, very fast. Here you see that these particular technologies which are appearing on the screen, did they exist in 2006? Uh, Anybody? Audience? Audience లేకపోతే I think Anjani can speak. Did
No, sir.
these technologies were there in 2006? These were not there.
Not there.
Uh,
Not there.
సో అట్లీస్ట్ యూ రెస్పాండ్. ఇప్పుడు కవిత్వం చెప్పేట ఆయన కూడా విశ్వద అభిరామ వినురవేమ అన్నప్పుడు అభిరాముడికి చెప్పాడు. అట్లనే
Okay, sir.
ఇంకొక టీచరే
Respond.
రెస్పాండ్ అయితే దట్ ఈస్ బెటర్. సో దీస్
Okay,
టెక్నాలజీస్
sir.
హ్యావ్ నాట్ ఎగ్జిస్టెడ్ prior to 2006, such as iPhone was not there, iPad was not there, right? Kindle was not there, 4G not there. Uber technology, Airbnb is a chart, it is not there. Android is operating system, right? The Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, these are all not there in 2006. Okay, we are all using this WhatsApp and other things for the last 6-7 years only. Prior to that, they are not there. Instagram, maybe last 1-2 years we have been using. And Uber, we have been using this particular IoT. Uber is a best example of IoT. 4G is the level of internet streaming. This speaks about, see, internet also levels of streaming. 2G up to certain level only. 3G is there, 4G is there. People are speaking about 5G now, right? See, right now recently we have taken, we have enhanced this the internet supply from Pioneer Online to 5G. That my system now is connected to 5G. 5G. In fact, that particular router recently I changed to 5G because the earlier router could support up to 4G only. When the supplier is able to supply 5G, so we have immediately changed the router also. So that is a different issue, that your Google Meet is not able to receive the video. That is only unfortunate thing. Had I known earlier, probably I would have planned something. If I know something, anything in advance, I will be able to do that I have been doing. That and yeah, these technologies were not there in the past. Now they are very much there. So any technological evolution that is happening, that has got its cascading effect or multiple effect on the manufacturing overall. See, time to reach 100 million customers. Telephone took 75 years to reach 100 million customers. 100 million means 10 crores. So 10 crore customers, right? Telephone took 75 years since its invention. So long time. See, even we do not have, see, landlines when we applied, we waited for 3 years to get the landline, especially in the year 96, 97, like that. I applied in 95, got in 97, like that. And web technologies took 7 years to reach 100 million customers. Facebook took 4 years. Instagram took 2 years. Pokemon Go, right? It took 1 month only. So evolution of the desk also you can see from a very big sized screens to the very your almost size of the PC. The smallest PC is as good as the tab. So from 1980 to 2014, what kind of revolutions that have taken. So the macro to micro and the nano level technologies being used, which you are studying in your molecular manufacturing, whatever is being evolved physically, chemically, right? The behavior will change when you go from macro to micro, micro to nano. The right these particular technologies which you have been you have been studying for the last 2 3 days, they are all responsible for the invention of so many devices of small micro in nature. And then you have cyber physical systems, computation on one side, communication, and then control. A cyber physical system, CPS, is a system of collaborating computational elements controlling physical entities. CPS are physical and engineered systems whose operations are monitored, coordinated, controlled, and integrated by a computing and communication core. They allow us to add capabilities to physical systems by merging computing and communication with physical processes. See, this digital manufacturing, what it does, it connects you to the physical process that are taking place in a particular factory somewhere, making use of the computer and the communication. So you have an app. I'll give you a simple example. You open your app, right? Go to the specifications of a particular product, and then you directly communicate with the company and they place the order. That's all. You are using digital manufacturing. Yeah, be a user, be a developer. See, when your student is able to develop app to do all these things, as a developer, he is directly contributing to digital manufacturing. When you are using as a customer, yes, you are a customer of digital manufacturing. When a company went to manufactures and then connects itself to this rest of the world, making use of this technology, yes, the company is connected to digital manufacturing. And then today's factory, they happen in a very rigidly sequenced process. Say, for example, this shows workstation 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and then to the pack. So this is happening in a rigidly sequenced car manufacture on a production line, because after one only, it can go for the second. After the completion of the second only, it can go for it. So it is a serially, it is happening. But tomorrow's factory, you can see it is decoupled, fully flexible, and highly integrated manufacturing systems. You can see here workstation A, right? And then workstation T, workstation O, workstation X, all zigzag. No, there is no need that it should complete a particular process to go to the next one. Like that, this highly, fully flexible. So the performing a particular operation at a particular station, it doesn't depend on that you must complete or you must come in a sequence only. Of course, there are restrictions that, of course, without performing drilling, you can't go for boring, or you can't go for reaming without performing drilling. Such restrictions still holds good, but it need not come in a serial line. So only those basic compatibilities or basic constraints are to be satisfied in tomorrow's factory. For Industry 4.0, there are 6 design principles. Interoperability. The ability of cyber physical systems, that is workplace carriers, assembly stations and products, humans and smart factories to connect and communicate with each other via the Internet of Things and the Internet of Services. So there is a basic difference between IoT and iOS. iOS, because it is only through a app you are connected to a service. So Internet of Things means through a app you are connected to a product specifications you are able to view, like that, things like that. Virtualization. A virtual, see what is happening today. What I am doing is virtual teaching only. A virtual copy of the smart factory, which is created by linking sensor data from monitoring physical process with virtual plant models and then simulation models. You can have the virtualization on screen. You can view the what is happening in a manufacturing factory, right? It's you can have its simulation. Decentralization, the ability of cyber physical systems within smart factories to make decisions on their own. Real time capability, the capability to collect and analyze data and provide the insights immediately. Next, service orientation, offering of services of cyber physical systems, humans, and smart factories through the Internet of Services. Next, modularity, flexible adaptation of smart factories for changing requirements of individual modules. These are all the basic important six design principles that are being required for digital manufacturing setup in Industry 4.0. And then here you have the building blocks of Industry 4.0, right? You have the, yeah, here you can see the augmented reality. See, you use the big data analytics, autonomous robots, simulation, horizontal and vertical system integration, industrial Internet of Things. You can see here. I am just playing one video on one side, Internet of, and you can see additive manufacturing, another video on the other side. You can see this. Yeah, through these visuals, you will be able to know how the Internet of Things work here, and then there the augmented reality works. Yeah, the implementation of Industry 4.0 or digital manufacturing is impacting all aspects of value chain. Value chain means whenever you move from one process, one step to the other in the product life cycle, the value gets enhanced. Say engineering, design, tools, and simulation, life cycle data management, digital manufacturing, customer relationship, enterprise resource planning, manufacturing operations management, industrial control systems, sensor and actuators, And this is particularly the colored ones, the dark colored ones are impacted more than the lighter one. You can see here, impacting all aspects of value chain, particularly wherever the human interaction is there, the communication is there, data is there, feedback is there. It has impacted more. You can see, this is how it is impacting all aspects of value chain, the digital manufacturing. And then value chain, you will also know about it. I mean, I will try to explain simultaneously playing the video, and I will also explain this. The original equipment manufacturer, his objective is to create a product he will get the basic components from supplies. There are tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers. This is how the supply chain look like. I'll supply chain, there is a virtual equipment manufacturer, and there is a tier 1 and tier 2. At different levels, there are suppliers are there. And then, see, this is how the chain consists of several suppliers, right? Anywhere, wherever if there is a problem, it will impact the all aspects of manufacturing and complete development of a product. So therefore, this value chain has to be perfect in order to manufacture the right. You see, there has to be the right data in the right place at the right time. So that has to be maintained. So this is called digital manufacturing design supply chain. It has to have the transparent information sharing. This is being explained in this video. And then digital enterprise. Digital enterprise, entire value chain is digitized and integrated. Right from the digital world, from the stage of product design, production planning, production engineering, production, and then services, into the real world, you have certain stage, it can be done from product design till the level of production engineering. You have the simulation, and then you have product life cycle management, PLM, from first to the last stage. And then you have the manufacturing execution systems, MES, from the as shown here. I am showing with the help of the pointer. And then you have totally integrated automation at the level of actual manufacturing, and the life cycle and the data driven services, especially at the level of production engineering to the services. So this is entire value chain is digitized and integrated in digital manufacturing systems. And then potential implications are robot assisted production, and then there is a predictive maintenance, and of course you also make use of additive manufacturing of complex parts, and then machines as a service, big data drive quality control, production line simulation, smart supply network. These are all potential implications of digital manufacturing. Some of these are the potential implications for this process. And you're all aware of Amazon warehouse. If you see robots working in Amazon warehouse right from the year 2013 to 2016, uh, here you can see how it is growing a number. The number is increasing enormously over the last 5-6 years than the previous time. And then let us take the example of Siemens, a German manufacturing giant. Siemens, an industrial user, is implementing an Industry 4.0 solution in medical engineering. For years, artificial knee and hip joints were standardized products with engineers needing several days to customize them for patients. Now, new software and steering solutions enable Siemens to produce an implant within 3 to 4 hours. So this is about implementation of Industry 4.0 in a medical engineering system, particularly when they are going for replacing certain parts of knee and hip joints with artificial products. And especially for customization, they were taking a lot of time. And now with the implementation of this, now they are able to do it. The new software making use of the concept of this and able to produce implant within 4 hours, but otherwise it was taking a lot of time in the past. Trump, German tool maker, this is another example. Here you can see German tool maker Trump, an Industry 4.0 supplier and worldwide market leader of laser systems, has put the first social machines to work. Each component is smart and knows what work has already been carried out on it. Because the production facility already knows its capacity utilization and communicates with other facilities, production options are automatically optimized. So this is another example where Industry 4.0 is implemented. And then GE, you all know, predicts the operating system for the industrial internet is powering digital industrial business that drive the global economy by connecting industrial equipment, analyzing data, and delivering real-time insights. Predicts-based apps are unleashing new levels of performance of both GE and non-GE assets. And then evolution of product and process design. If you see in the 80s, you see you are having a drawing, and then you are trying to develop the prototypes, and then you assemble them and then check them, right? A lot of time it used to take. With the technological advance, we are having everything in a computer. See, you can model the component, assemble it, animate it, check its performance, and you have the prototyping. See, the virtual prototyping on the system, making use of the software, and the real prototyping by having the components printed using the 3D printing, and then assembling them, and then you are having real prototyping, real simulation of the assembly, virtual prototyping, and virtual assembly simulation. All that is possible with the technological advances. This is made possible, particularly the real prototyping. Virtual prototyping was there in the past also, but real prototyping, with the advances that have taken place in 3D printing, we are having a lot of real prototyping, especially after 2010 and onwards. And then examples of product evolution, connected and smart products. If you see Philips lighting, users can control Philips lighting light bulbs via smartphone, turning them on and off, programming them to blink if they detect an intruder, or dimming them slowly at night. All this is possible through a programmer. Medtronics implanted digital blood glucose meter connects wirelessly to a monitoring and display device and can alert patients to trends in glucose levels requiring attention. So somebody who is having sugar problem, the device really helped him a lot. And whenever your sugar falls, we are having some of our I think senior colleagues, who are having, when we were young, we observed some of very very senior colleagues having sugar issues and then requiring attention. So this Medtronic implanted digital device really helps them. Next is Ralph Lauren Polo Tech shirt, available in 2015. Streams distance covered, calories burned, movement intensity, heart rate, and other data to the wearer's mobile device. Of course, nowadays you are switching on the mobile, maybe Samsung Health app you are downloading and then using. Instead of that, you can wear the shirt also. You can connect it to through a app to your phone. Maybe right, you can always check the calories burn, movement intensity, and all that through this. Next is the Babolat Play Pure Drive product system, puts sensors and connectivity, the tennis racket handle, allowing users to track and analyze ball speed, spin, and impact location to improve their game. These are all the smart products and which are connected to the mobile, and they can be always be used to have more and more information about the processes that are taking place. Henry Ford said once that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is a success. So in digital manufacturing, it really holds good that it brings all the people with making the transparent information available, contributing to the progress of the country and leading to the success of the company. Then what is digital manufacturing? You are all given lot of information about this up to now. I think you should be able to tell also by now what is digital manufacturing. If I put a question, so I think most of you should be able to speak or tell something about this. Digital information from multiple sources, formats, owners, etc., for the enhancement of manufacturing. That is one way of putting it. Is digital manufacturing a new? No, it is there. In 1990s, in the form of application of digital information for the enhancement of manufacturing processes. In 2000s, the application of digital information for the enhancement of manufacturing process and supply chains. And in 2010s, the application of digital information from multiple sources, formats, and owners for the enhancement of manufacturing process, supply chains, products, and services also. You are using this digital manufacturing in say this is not completely new. You have been using it in different ways, different times, in different forms. Engineering process for product realization, if you see, right, product requirements and specifications, we call it as specs. Then you go for the design synthesis, then design representation, design analysis, design evaluation, then you go for the manufacturing planning, manufacturing execution, and then inspection. It is a straight way of doing things, but at the design analysis, again, you go for the design synthesis analysis. When you check when it is not up to the level of the stresses and strains and certain levels so acceptable, then you go for design synthesis. Then again you carry on the thing. Then after design analysis, you go for the design evaluation. And at evaluation, if certain things require modifications, again you go to the level of design synthesis. And then you go for the manufacturing planning. When manufacturing planning, normally you don't encounter many difficulties, but manufacturing execution, yes, you will get. So manufacturing execution, you do either you modify to manufacturing planning if it is possible within the company's level, or you go to the directly to the design synthesis, once again change the design. Then you execute the manufacturing and the component goes for the inspection. That is how the engineering process normally happens in a factory for product realization. So here, who casts the biggest shadow, which is most important thing? See, product design, cost-wise, it is only 5% of the, say, when you are making a component, the cost involved in making a component, the contribution is only 5%. And 50% goes to the material, 15% to the labor associated, and overhead is 30%. So you give a lot of importance to the factory, and of course, highest importance to the material. to the overhead. Next is the labor. Next is the product design is given the least importance from the point of view of cost. But who casts the biggest shadow? Product design with 5% cost, it is going to influence up to 70%. Then 50% of the material, when the influence, if you see, it is only 20%. Labor is only 5%, overhead is 5%. We can see things, what is considered as the least from the cost point of view is casting a lot of 70% influence. So therefore, the product design stage, you have to be very, very careful. And then you have, what are the big three in a production cycle? Design, production, and process planning. These three are equally important. Never say that design is more important or process planning is more important or production is more important. The three are considered as big three in the product realization and the product manufacturing. Design, production, the process planning. These three are equally important. Therefore, they are considered as big three in a production cycle. Activities in a production cycle. In design operations, you have got the design, preliminary design, drafting, design analysis, synthesis, analysis and optimization, evaluation, presentation, resource requirement, project engineering, build prototype, design, directives and layout, design information. This is the design stage. In the process planning or planning operations, you have process plans, how to make, where to make, tool design, tool fabrication and proving, and NC programs, picture book planning. See, but some stage in process planning with pictorial also you need to explain to the workforce sometimes, estimating, planning information and all that. And in the production planning, production controls, factory controls, NC tools, fabricating, assembly, test, inspection, material handling, producibility information, all that is information is called production operations or nothing but the production. Production operation is the aspect of production. These are the activities in a production cycle. And then if you see this CAD/CAM integration and computer assistance to the production cycle, you can see that on one side you have the customers and markets, production concept, and then it goes to the computer aided design, and then concept to the design engineering and drafting, all that, then from drafting to the process planning, and then order new equipment and tooling, scheduling, production, and then quality control. All this is, you are aware of. This is how this is the cyclic process or flow chart or the routing for the activities that take place in a. And you provide computer assistance at every stage. So that's why paving the way for the CAD/CAM integration. And then here, this CAD/CAM activities in a production cycle. Earlier you have seen design was a normal design, but here it is a CAD. Preliminary design, drafting, design analysis, resource requirement, project engineering, modeling, simulation, testing, documentation, graphical and bill of material, design information. All this is the output you can take from the CAD package. The planning operation, anyway, you have the computer-aided process planning, group technology, process plans, NC tool, LC tool programs, part codes, methods and standards, shop routing, picture book planning, planning information estimating, and all that normally happens in process planning. Here you have in the form of CAPP. In the earlier chart also you have seen. Production operations you have seen as production, normal production earlier. Now it is a CAM. But the listing is the same. But you have everywhere computer assistance for all the activities in the CAD/CAM activities in a production cycle. And then boundaries between functions in traditional manufacturing. You have got, there is a scope for certain redundant data in the traditional manufacturing, but that can be eliminated or avoided in digital manufacturing. That is the purpose of this particular slide. And then redundant cause data cause what you call as manufacturing problems. So therefore, the redundant data has to be removed. You can see a lot of redundant data in the business. Also, you have the files available in the form of program files, and the production also available, engineering also available, human resource also. Several redundant data, unnecessary data is made available. So that really causes problems. So engineering and at the same time at the human resources and all that, whenever you provide inaccurate and not equivalent data, right, that leads to cause manufacturing problems. So that is the peculiar problem associated with the traditional manufacturing, whereas that can be completely eliminated in digital manufacturing. And this is the chart. This chart to show the information flow from design to production shop, right? Product design and then manufacturing to the NC programming and the quality control programming. You have NC programs to NC machine, and here quality control program to the inspection equipment and all that. So there is a conventional machine tool, and then you have the right. So product design goes to the manufacturing, making use of the tool design work and also the tool design. I think this is already known to all the teachers who have been teaching manufacturing in the form of CAPP or in the form of CAD CAM. You are all aware. But anyway, this flow is required to explain you once again. See, this particular information sharing, this is how it is done in the case of digital manufacturing is explained in this particular video, right? That was earlier slides were pertaining to the conventional, and this one is pertaining to the information sharing in a digital manufacturing environment. The role of data and purchasing communication standards in manufacturing and design. So this is how it is done in a digital manufacturing environment. It is a single manufacturing shop floor. Each one will generate lot of data, and data is provided in different formats. Because each will provide output in their proprietary format. But whereas in the case of digital manufacturing and design, everything is put in a particular data standards. Data can be shared and transferred in useful formats such as STEP and IGES. MT Connect. MT Connect supports and mill standard is another one. So this particular video will explain you how the problems that were there existing with the conventional manufacturing, which can be really eliminated in a in a digital manufacturing setup by standardizing, because each of the device, they will give it in a proprietary formats, but that can be put into a standard format and made available to all of us, all the people who are involved in the production life cycle. You can also maintain a common database for a manufacturing system. So here, the human resources people will use the same, engineering department will use the same, business will use the same, production people will use the same data. That sort is right. In a manufacturing system, it can be done through the digital manufacturing. Common database for a manufacturing system. For example, human resources, production, business, engineering, everyone will use any changes. There is only one set of data that is available to everybody. Deletions, additions, everything is centralized. And of course, and at hierarchical level, you have got the control, access controls will be there. They will be incorporated in it. And then, of course, now we are talking about the cyber physical systems is a system of collaborating computational elements controlling physical entities. Cyber physical systems, CPS, are physical and engineered systems whose operations are monitored, coordinated, controlled, and integrated by a computing and communication core. They allow us to add capabilities to physical systems by merging computing and communication with physical processes. So here you can see the life cycle consideration in a product design. You can see life cycle design, the need, and then there is a product design, manufacturing, assembly, packing and delivery, sales and service, and then recycling. Here you can see the working conditions and resource optimization, life cycle cost, right? Company policy, product proprietors, and then ease of manufacturing and environmental protection. So there is a smaller circle within the factory. There is a bigger circle outside. So that is that speaks about the manufacturing factories interface to the outside world. So you have to use the resources very in an optimized way at the product design level. Their availability, material availability with the external world, you need to check. And then life cycle costs, particularly when you at the level of manufacturing and assembly, you need to consider what are the life cycle costs. And see when the product goes out and put into service, how it is going to use the packing and delivery. When you go to that, you have to use two other aspects: is that company policy, product proprietaries. All these you need to consider. Sales and service. When you cost it, you have to look at the ease of manufacturing and all that, recycling, environmental protection, and all that. So there is a bigger circle that is connecting you to the outside world, and there is a smaller circle that is mainly the technology. So only technology will not be of any use unless you have a society connect. Societal connect is happening to this outside circle. So therefore, this chart is very, very important. This will show you life cycle considerations in product design. And then all over the world, if you see the manufacturing trend, right here from mass production to mass customization. Yeah, anyone know what is mass customization? What is the difference between mass production and mass production means you produce a lot, that is called, right? But whereas mass customization is different. Can any teacher, any participant explain what is mass production and mass customization? I need some answers from our uh, faculty friends, because most of your faculty, I think you can explain in your own terminology what is mass production and what is mass customization. అంజని అంజని మన పార్టిసిపెంట్స్
సార్ సార్
నిద్రపోతున్నారమ్మా? అంతా నిద్రపోతున్నారా?
స్లీపింగ్ సార్.
లేదు
నాకు
సార్.
నిద్రపోవడం లేదు, స్లీపింగ్.
అది కాదు, మాస్ ప్రొడక్షన్ టు మాస్ కస్టమైజేషన్ అనే సింపుల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆన్సర్ చేయలేకపోతే ఎట్లా వాళ్ళు? దే మస్ట్ really involve in discussion. I'll give one example, very, very nice example. మాస్ ప్రొడక్షన్ మీన్స్ ఒక ఇద్దరు ఫ్యాకల్టీ మెంబర్స్ ఏదో ఈఎంఐ ద్వారా 2 కార్లు కొనుక్కుందామని ఫ్యాకల్టీ ఏ అండ్ ఫ్యాకల్టీ బి హ్యావ్ గాన్ టు మారుతి షోరూమ్. బోత్ హ్యావ్ బుక్డ్ ది సేమ్ కార్. They have booked, but their requirements are different. ఒక ఆయన ఏమో నాకు మాన్యువల్ ఆపరేటెడ్ విండోస్ చాలండి, ఐ డోంట్ నీడ్ ఎనీ ఎక్స్ట్రా ఫిట్టింగ్స్, బేసిక్ కాస్ట్లో నాకు ఇచ్చేసేయండి అని ఏం చెప్పాడు. ఇంకొక ఆయన వెళ్ళాడు, నాకు అన్ని ఫుల్లీ లోడెడ్ వెహికల్ కావాలి అని బి హ్యాస్ స్పెసిఫైడ్ హిజ్ ఓన్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్స్. మాస్ కస్టమైజేషన్ అండ్ మాస్ ప్రొడక్షన్ దెర్ ఇస్ రిలేషన్, బికాస్ the skeleton product will come through mass production and customization is done as per the requirements of the customer. So they will make See, they will carry out the study of how many are really taking the basic variants and then high-end variants. They make that number available. All this happens at the same cost of the mass production only. ఇప్పుడు బేసిక్ ప్రైస్ ఆఫ్ ది కాస్ట్ 6 లక్షలు ఉంటే 6 లక్షలకే ఆ ఏ కూడా అమ్ముతాడు. అదేవిధంగా ఆ బి ఈవెన్ దో స్పెసిఫైడ్ మెనీ కస్టమైజ్డ్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్, బట్ ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ మోర్ దాన్ 5% ఆఫ్ ది బేసిక్ కాస్ట్. అఫ్ కోర్స్ 5% ఆఫ్ 6 lakhs అంటే ఇంకో 30,000. అంతే కదా, మనకు ఆటోమేటెడ్ విండోస్కును విండోస్ లేకుండా ఆటోమేటెడ్ విండోస్ నార్మల్ విండోస్కి కాస్ట్ కూడా 30,000-40,000 ఉంటుంది డిఫరెన్స్. ఒక 5% to 10% వేరియేషన్ కూడా అవే అలౌడ్. సో ది స్కోప్ ఆఫ్ మాస్ కస్టమైజేషన్, ది కాన్సెప్ట్ ఆఫ్ మాస్ కస్టమైజేషన్ రియల్లీ పేవ్డ్ వే ఫర్ సాటిస్ఫైయింగ్ ది కస్టమర్ టేస్ట్, making use of the mass production technique. That means the base product is produced in mass production, but the final product is delivered to the customer satisfying his requirements. Therefore, it is called mass customization. Involvement of many people, customers, raw materials, suppliers, transport, accounts, production planning, large amount of data, interoperability of data, rapid sharing and processing of the data. You can see 1850s to 1913 is a manual production, and 1913 to 1915 is 55 is mass production. And then you can see 1980 to 2000 it is customized mass production. Customized mass production ante ఆ బేసిక్ మోడల్స్ ఒక 100, హై ఎండ్ మోడల్స్ ఒక 100 అట్లా ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయటం. వేరాస్ 2000 ఆన్వర్డ్స్ వీ కెన్ సీ మోర్ ఆఫ్ గ్లోబలైజేషన్, రీజనలైజేషన్. ది ప్రొడక్షన్ ఈజ్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఎట్ గ్లోబలైజేషన్ టు సాటిస్ఫై పర్టికులర్ రీజన్ అండ్ పర్టికులర్ పర్సన్ and involving a lot of complexities. The manufacturing is happening at the global level to satisfy the particular region and the particular person. So that is the beauty of this particular slide explaining manufacturing trend. And then mass production versus mass customization. If you see 1920 so up to 1990, 1980, the era of mass production. And now the era of mass customization. The mass customization really is satisfying the taste of the varied requirements of the customer, but without much variation in the price. You will get at the same price as that of the mass production, but to satisfy your varied requirements, maybe 5 to 10% of 5% more than the actual cost. Mass customization as the ability, you can define it, mass customization, ability to produce a single customized products with the same efficiency as a mass produced product. Because you are producing many, you can have that all that the product specifications available, but at the same time you are satisfying a customer, particular customer. IT and flexible work manufacturing processes allow customization of goods or services. Contrary, mass customization also increases unnecessary cost and complexity. Collaborative customizers conduct a dialogue with individual customers to help them articulate their needs, to identify the precise offering that fulfills those needs, and to make customized products for them. Adaptive customizers offer one standard but customizable product that is designed so that users can alter it themselves. Cosmetic customizers present a standard product differently to different customizers. Transparent customizers provide individual customers with unique goods or services without letting them know explicitly that those products and services have been customized for them. So these customers particularly, see, you can see even if you particularly load ladies when they go to jewelry shop, particularly gold shops, yes, all these types of customers, collaborative, adaptive, cosmetic and transparent customizers, all these varieties we really come across these many varieties of mass customization rather than going to an automobile shop. And then, yes, digital manufacturing, it really impacted a lot at the level of individual, at the level of society, at the level of country, at the level of world, at their businesses, their economy, everywhere. It impacted a lot. And then, yeah, yes, it contributed to the growth, the aging, the aging, and then productivity, employment, labor substitution, the nature of work. The skill set has to be changed. The same skill set which was existing earlier, it cannot be used. It has to be changed, right? And it has impacted business due to customer expectations, data enhanced products, collaborative innovation, and new operating models. And then you have, yeah, workforce also. There are some specific workforce requirements in digital manufacturing. This video really explains about that and how digital manufacturing and design will impact the workforce and the career opportunities. You can see here. Earlier, artisans and skill sets were completely different now with the
Sir,
hello.
sir, time up, sir. Huh? At least 5 minutes for discussion.
Oh yes, fine, fine. Yeah, I mean, I want to tell everybody that the skill set has completely changed. Uh, the skill set requirement, 94% of the SMEs have not adapted digital manufacturing. Just one moment, I'll show this particular important slide. 94% of SMEs have not adapted digital manufacturing practices. 95% of yes manufacturers are small and medium enterprise. Over 98% digital product development is to happen by 2020. Right, there are a lot many jobs for those skilled in digital manufacturing, and then right, there is a lot of demand for those skilled in these advanced manufacturing, modeling, and simulations who are capable of making use of these advanced machines, and then capable of cyber security is another aspect. Because you are giving access and controls, there is a possibility of threat. So therefore your digital manufacturing has to really address these cyber security issues. And then of course impact, just now we have already discussed. And top 10 skills to be relevant in industry 4.0 in 2020 and 2015. What is relevant in 2015? Sometimes it may be relevant, may not be relevant also. You can see here this listing is different, right? Complex problem solving was there then, and now critical thinking, right? Priority changed in 2020. Creativity has gone to third position. Then earlier it was in 10th position. People management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, service orientation, negotiation, right? Cognitive flexibility, these are all the issues, right? And then data security and disaster recovery. You need to maintain this. In particular, data security in a digital manufacturing environment is very, very important. And in the event of failure, you should be able to uh, recover the making use of this. And the vision document for the digital manufacturing says that right, the yes, provided the guidelines for future for any company to implement. If anybody is interested to know, I am always available for doubts clarification on if somebody wants to implement these digital manufacturing in their factory. And this way, I mean, I can give them some specific cases also. I have got some case studies available with me, and now it is open for discussion. So all the participants, you may unmute your mics, and then one after the other, you can talk to me. Okay. So,
Hello, good evening, sir.
yeah, good evening, good evening.
Sir,
Good evening.
first of all, congratulations for your excellent talk on this subject called digital manufacturing, sir. Actually, whenever you give a lecture on this, we like to keep on hearing, in fact. But I mean, in this entire lecture, you have very smoothly taken us from first industrial revolution to industry 4.0. So that, and then the concept of mass customization is really something which is very useful for us, because in this scenario, as you said, sir, it's a win-win situation for the customers as well as the manufacturers, with the data that is available, which can be used in various stages of supply chain, sir, as you said. So these things are very useful for us, sir. So thank you very much for your excellent session, sir.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah.
Any doubts?
Yeah. Farzana from which college?
Any questions from the participant?
Yeah, I'm seeing certain names in the. Okay, I just read in the. Yeah, good information. Yeah, this is there in actually Coursera. I have done 2 courses in digital manufacturing. That made my task very easy. So Farzana, you can also pursue these courses on say Coursera. The State University of New York is offering this. There are actually 6 courses. I could do only 2. Really, I mean, I wish to say that we have really utilized this particular time during COVID-19. By May itself, we have completed. June also, I pursued one more course. And then later, of course, again, our classwork started. We are not finding time. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inspiring and thought-provoking speech on digital manufacturing. This is the era where even Modi is also insisting us to follow digital. So everything is digital now, and your presentation also digital. Thank you so much, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, N.S. Srinivasulu, and all the participants for your patient
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
hearing, and wish you all the best
Thank you, sir.
for the remaining sessions also. Anjani, and then Ingoru Sushma unda. Sushma is
Yes,
there.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, another expert is waiting, sir. I'll announce.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Very good presentation, sir.
Dear participants,
Thank
there is
you.
one more session. Dear participants, there is one more session on Sahaja Yoga by Dr. Chandrakant from Noida. Please join us, okay? Sahaja Yoga, meditation. Yeah, please, sir. Join, sir.
So, good afternoon, all. Let me know if my screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah,
And
it is visible, sir.
Visible, sir.
It is visible,
Okay.
sir. Let us, madam, introduce, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Chandrakant sir is working as a senior technical delivery manager with Vistion Corporation Private Limited, based on Pune-based company. He completed electronics and instrumentation science postgraduate from University of Pune in the year 2004. So, with a brief stint in technical skill sales market, Chandrakant sir has been largely associated with software and IT industry in India, USA, and Japan for the last 15 plus years, and has worked with various Indian and foreign companies, including Wipro Technology, Johnson Control, Toshiba, etc. Chandrakant sir has been associated with and voluntarily conducting the Sahaja Yoga meditation programs and classes free of cost with various government organizations, colleges, schools, and private sector companies. We welcome you, sir.
So, thank you very much for inviting me here. to speak with all the respected participants. So, dear all guests, we welcome you on Sahaj Yoga online meditation workshop. This will be around 30-35 minute or 40-minute workshop. In today's session, we are going to learn about the meditation, that is Sahaj Yoga meditation. So Sahaj Yoga is a simple form of meditation based on the experience of self-realization by Kundalini awakening that can occur within each human being. Through this process is an inner transformation will happen and one became moral, united, integrated and balanced. So today with this session, we will have some theory part, then we will have some practical part, then we have question answer and how to practice at home. So during the session, if you have any question, do not hesitate to contact or post your question on chat or maybe unmute your mic and you can just ask the question. The theory part will be not big. It will be only small 5 to 10 minutes, but we are trying to understand the basic definition, like what is mean by meditation, what is mean by yoga, what is mean by yogasana, and how it will give the benefit to us. So these are the part which we are going to learn in the theory part. So let's understand one very basic question. Suppose I say you pay attention to yourself, or if teacher will say pay attention to all the student, then student will start looking at the blackboard. But I say pay attention to pay attention to yourself, then you will ask me a question, sir, where to pay the attention? Okay, it is impossible thing. How do we take our attention inside? It is all the time outside. So how to make the attention inside? That is why we have to get the self-realization first. You have to become the spirit by which you can take your attention inside your roots. That is why the first condition in the Sahaj Yoga system is that you have to become the spirit. You have to take your attention on a root. And with this practical part, we are taking our attention on our roots, on our spirit. So this is what we are covering in a practical part. Once the practical part is over, you will feel the real inner peace, real balance, real transformation that can occur in each human being by awakening the Kundalini. The process of Sahaj Yoga is very spontaneous and natural. It is a technique of awakening the Kundalini Shakti, which lies in our spinal cord. At the bottom of our spinal cord, there is a bone which we call as a sacrum bone. At that place, this energy is located. So Sahaj Yoga is not the philosophy, but it is an experience-based yoga. In Sahaj Yoga, there is no do's and don'ts, but the practitioner of Sahaj Yoga automatically gives up all the bad habit and start leading the blissful life. So this is all the benefit you will get. Once you start the meditation, you will get the benefit by improving your health, improving your mental activity, improving your spiritual activity. So these different kind of benefit you will get. Also, this is the state of liberation, that is freedom from the pain, suffering, fears, tension of life. It is freedom from all parts of all kind of problem in your day-to-day life. Okay, the self-realization, free from all the domination of our mind, our thoughts, our emotion. If you do a meditation, you will be free from emotions. So if I get a time, I will definitely tell you the emotional intelligence, how the emotional intelligence is very important nowadays. So these are some of the things which I wanted to explain you, but let's start with some basic thing. So I just want to ask a very simple question to all of you. What is a meditation? Can you please let us know your answer on chat, whatever you know. What is exactly the meditation? Because unless and until we don't understand the basic thing, it will be difficult to explain all the logic behind the thing. So what is exactly the meditation? Can someone please let me know? So we have around 49 participants. Okay, so Srinivas sir says it's improving concentration, Yes, sir, you are right. It is giving the this is the basically the advantage of meditation. So what else? Anyone want to share their thoughts? Anything, whatever you know about word meditation, because today we are in the session of meditation, so we should know. So I see Rao sir says relaxation. Thank you, sir. It is also the benefit. Purifying thought, yes, correct. So Srinivasan sir said a correct answer, purifying thoughts. So okay, sitting and closing our eyes, this is the process. Okay, so Nagini sir, Nagini ma'am says the process finding our inner self. Okay, okay, so we got the correct answer, that is thoughtless awareness or purifying thoughts. So if you observe properly, every day we are getting thousands and thousands thoughts. And if you find these thoughts are coming from the two categories, thoughts will be come from the past or the thought will be come from the future. But there is no situation where you do not have any thought. That is a thoughtless awareness. If you see the sine wave, one thought will come, it goes down, immediately another thought will come. But when we increase the duration between two thoughts, in Hindi we call as a vilamba. If we increase the duration between two thoughts, that state we call as a thoughtless awareness. That is called as a meditation. In Hindi we call as a dhyan. In Sanskrit we call as a turiya state. So this is the state we are going to achieve today with the practical session. So this is a simple definition of meditation. Meditation is nothing but achieving the thoughtless awareness state. And once you achieve this thoughtless awareness state, all the different benefit you will start getting in your day-to-day life. So this is basically this one of the biggest advantages. It will remove all kind of stress. Basically, stress is what? Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. It can come from any event or through that make you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. So basically, if anything happened and that doesn't go properly, you will get the stress. And because of a stress, you get a lot of problem. Stress is nothing but the entry point of all the disease. Stress is a silent killer. If you didn't handle properly, it will kill your present, it will kill your future. So again, you will get a lot of health problem because of a stress. Once you get the stress, all the chemical secretion in your body get disturbed and you get a different disease. So this is all happen with the stress. So how to handle this? We can handle this with the very good technique which we call as a Sahaj Yoga. But before I start explaining the Sahaj Yoga, I have one more question to all the participants. What is mean by yoga? Can you please tell me what is the exact meaning of yoga? So whatever you know, because you heard about yoga, right? So whatever you know, you can please post the answer, or maybe you can unmute, you can ask, you can unmute and you can explain the answer. What is exactly meaning of yoga? Anyone want to share? Okay, so Mr. Reddy sir says union of body and self. Okay, Manoj sir. So few exercise. Okay, so I got the correct answer in a first attempt only. So Mr. Reddy sir has given a correct answer, is a union. So yoga is nothing but the union or a connection with your own energy, with the cosmic energy. So what is meant by Sahaj Yoga? Saha means with and Ja is a bond. So Sahaj means bond with you, energy, and yoga is a union with the cosmic power. So Sahaj Yoga is nothing but a spontaneous union of your own energy with the cosmic power. You can say the cosmic power, you can say all-pervading power, you can say divine power, you can say God, whichever word you want to use, but the purpose is the same. It's a union, it's a connection. But where is our energy which is born with us? So if you see the subtle chart, which is I'm showing right now, the way we have a human body with the eyes, hand, nose, similar way we have one internal body system, which is made up of 3 nadis, 7 chakras, and 1 instrumental energy, which we call as a Kundalini energy. Okay, so this Kundalini is born with us and can be awakened spontaneously without effort, just as a seed is transformed spontaneously into the great tree. Similar way, this Kundalini can also activate and come out from our head. Once this thing happen, our physical, mental, and emotional thing get balanced, and this is what we want to achieve today. So these 7 chakra are basically responsible for our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Once we get our self-realization, we feel this center in our subtle system within us. As the Kundalini rise and passes through these centers, that time it balances this center. If there is any problem in this center, it cures this center. So these are the 7 centers which are located on our spinal cord. You can see the on the screen there is a 2 diagram. In one diagram we can see the 7 chakras. In another diagram we can see our subtle system. So the blue color line which you see in this diagram, which we call as the left sympathetic nervous system, in Sanskrit we call as Ida Nadi. Also we call as a moon channel. The yellow line which you see in the screen, which we call as a right sympathetic nervous system, or a Pingla Nadi, also we call as a sun channel. And the center path which we call as a parasympathetic nervous system, or a Sushumna Nadi. Once our Kundalini Shakti activated and passes through this 7 energy center and come out from the top of our head, at this stage a cool breeze like a very beautiful vibration start flowing through our fingertips, which is the first experience of self-realization. You can feel the cool breeze on top of your head and on your fingertips. And our Kundalini flow through this chakra. It energizes, it nourish, and it balance them. Each of chakra is associated with a specific function and qualities. A catch or a blockages or obstruction in chakra means there is some kind of problem associated with that body organ, and once the Kundalini will rise, it remove that blockages, obstruction, and it clear that problem. So this is what about our subtle system, and these are the 7 energy center. So if we go more detail, the first energy center we call as a Muladhara, second is a Swadhisthana, third is a Nabhi, Hriday, Vishuddhi, Agya, and Sahasrara. So now, if you find a person who is always feel a lethargy, always focus on the past and over emotional, he feel the depression and loneliness, that means his left side is a weak, or there is some kind of problem in his left side, or there is an imbalance. Similar way, if you find a person who is very overactive, always thinking about future, workaholic, aggressive, very angry, that means his right channel has some problem, or it's some kind of imbalance. But the person whose left and right side is completely balanced, that person we call as a balanced personality. And that balanced personality which is the natural or a main state, where once we do meditation, we can balance our left and right, and we can be in a center path. So in today's practical, we are trying to balance our left side, our right side, and be in a balance. So I wanted to show you the one small video about the founder, but I think on the screen you can see the founder of Sahaj Yoga, Dr. Shri Nirmala Srivastava. She combined the medical science and spirituality together and discovered the Sahaj Yoga technique in 1917. After that, it is followed up worldwide, and today millions and millions people are following the Sahaj Yoga technique. So this is the whole technique is invented by the Dr. Shri Nirmala Srivastava. So it's like this Kundalini is described in all part of books. If you consider old book, there is a specific significance of Kundalini. Also, in Buddhist also it is named as a Maitreyi. In Greek also it is named as Athena. In Muslim it is known as Ruhu. So different people are mentioning the different name, but the purpose and thing are same. So there is no change. So to give a little more introduction about Shri Mataji, so what is exactly the self-realization? So it's the awakening of Kundalini. But this is a new technology or something new discovered by Shri Mataji? No. Actually, previously people used to meditate alone. Maybe one or two get self-realization from their gurus. But there is no phenomenon of en masse realization or nor en masse meditation on those days. They all used to disappear into some nooks or corner or a quiet places where they would sit down and meditate. But this en masse realization or en masse meditation or en masse understanding and learning about your being was not imagined that time. But in 1917, once Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi started this technique, she invented the en masse meditation or en masse realization. And that is the break point in human evolution. And from there onward, today millions and millions people across the world is following the Sahaja Yoga, and it's totally free of charge. And people are getting a lot of benefits. So I wanted to give more detail, but let's do some practical part also. So I want to show you this small animation. So this is what till now, as I explained, this is our human body where we have 3 channels, 7 energy center, and 1 instrumental energy which we call as a Kundalini, which is in our sacrum bone. So once this activated, you can see how this energy get activated. This energy is present in every human being, but it is in a sleeping state. But when today we'll do practically, it get activated and it goes to the first energy center, which we call as a Muladhara. It nourishes the Muladhara chakra. It manifests the quality of Muladhara chakra. Muladhara chakra basically control all our or reproductive organ and excretory organ. Then it goes to second energy center, which we call as a Swadhisthana chakra. Basically, this is very important to generate the gray cell for our body. Then third is a Nabhi chakra. After that, it goes to the Vishuddhi Nabhi chakra. It goes to the heart chakra. Heart chakra gives a lot of confidence to you. It purifies the blood. It gives a confidence that you will lead a successful leader in your life. Then it goes to the Vishuddhi chakra. It controls your ear, nose, eyes, all ENT related problem. Also, it improves your communication skill. And then it goes to the next energy center, which we call as Agya chakra or optic chesma. Basically, if you are thinking too much about the past or future, this chakra goes in imbalance, and then at the end it come out from our top of our head, which we call as a limbic area or Sahasrara chakra. Once this energy come out from the head, you feel the cool or hot breeze on your palm. So this is what the experience today we are trying to achieve. So I have already explained you about the founder Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi. So why the Sahaja Yoga is unique? Because you can be your own doctor. And you can diagnose all your problem by your own. How this is possible? Because all your body organ is associated with one energy center, and that energy center is associated with our palm, because the spinal nervous system will come to our fingertips. And if you have any problem, for example, if you have ENT problem, you will immediately come to know on your index finger. Secondly, this is completely natural technique, a very scientific technique, very spontaneous. That is, no physical effort is required. What is required is a strong desire, and it's completely living process. You can verify on your palm. So let's start the practical part, and with the practical part, I will first explain you the step, and then we all can do the step together. So all are ready? Can we do the practical part? Can you please post your answer yes or no? So can we start the practical part? All are ready? Okay, thank you. So thank you. We can start the practical part. So let me explain you the steps. There are only 5 steps. First, we need to balance our left side. We need to balance our right side. So to balance our left side, we need to keep our left hand on our lap and right hand on Mother Earth. Okay. To balance our right side, take our right hand on our lap and raise our left hand toward the sky, bending from the elbow like this. You can see my video, or you can see on the screen. So this is a balancing of our left and right side. Then take your both the hand back to your lap. Then we are going to perform 3 steps. So after that, all step we are going to do with the right hand. Raise your right hand, put on your heart, little left side. Press it little bit hard. Then raise our right hand, put on our forehead horizontally like this. Press it little bit hard. Squeeze our palm, move our head little down toward Mother Earth. And then last step, raise our right hand, put on top of our head, press it little bit hard. Stretch our palm, rotate our palm 7 times clockwise direction. Okay, so these are the steps we need to perform. That's it. So all are ready? Before we start, this step we understand with the open eyes. Now we are going to perform these steps with the closed eyes. I request you all participants, please remove your shoes or slipper so that your feet can touch Mother Earth. If you are sitting on a chair, you can sit like this and if you are sitting on a ground, you can sit on Padmasana or Sukhasana, whichever is comfortable for you. Keep your both the hand on your lap. Your spinal cord should be upright and straight. If you are wearing a spec, please remove the specs because we are closing our eyes. So slowly we'll close our eyes. Keep our both the hand on our lap. Our palm will be facing toward the sky. Our spinal cord should be upright and straight. Be in a relaxed position and slowly close our eyes. धीरे धीरे हम अपनी आंखें बंद करेंगे. Let's slowly close our eyes. Slowly close our eyes. Now we are going to do a left side balancing, that is Ida Nadi Ka Santulan. So our left hand on our lap and right hand on Mother Earth. Our left hand on a lap and right hand on Mother Earth. If you are sitting on a chair, you can direct your right hand toward Mother Earth. If you are sitting on a ground, just touch your right hand on Mother Earth. And here we will pray in our heart. Mother, please balance my left side. Please remove all the heaviness, blockages from my left side toward this Mother Earth element. You may feel some energy flow in both of your hand and top of your head. Let's enjoy this flow for a few seconds. Now take your right hand back to your lap. Now we are going to balance our right side. So our right hand on our lap and slowly we'll raise our left hand toward the sky, bending from the elbow. And here in our heart, we will pray, Mother, please balance my right side. Please remove all the excessive hit, unnecessary thoughts from my right channel toward the sky element. You may experience the flow of energy in both of your palms. So let's enjoy this state for a few seconds. Now take your both the hand back to your lap. Now we are going to do a self-realization steps. Our eyes should be closed. हमारी आंखें बंद रहेंगी. Now raise our right hand, put on our heart little left side, press it little bit hard. हमारा सीधा हाथ हम हृदय के लेफ्ट साइड में रखेंगे, थोड़ा जोर से दबाएंगे और यहाँ पे हम प्रार्थना करेंगे, Mother, please give me my self-realization. Mother, I am the pure spirit. श्री माता जी, मैं एक शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ. Mother, I am the pure spirit. You need to say 12 times in your heart, Mother, I am the pure spirit. श्री माता जी, मैं एक शुद्ध आत्मा हूँ. You need to say this prayer in your heart 12 times with full confidence. Now slowly raise your right hand, put on your forehead horizontally, squeeze your palm, move your head little down, and here you need to say, I forgive everyone, whoever created a problem to me in my past. मैंने सबको क्षमा किया है. जिसने भी मुझे चोट पहुंचाई है, मैं उन सबको क्षमा करता हूँ, करती हूँ. मेरा किसी से भी बैर नहीं. I forgive everyone, whoever created a problem to me in my past. Don't think about any individual, just forgive. Forgive from your bottom of heart. Don't think, just forgive. Now slowly take your right hand, put on top of your head, press it little bit hard, stretch your palm, press it little bit hard, rotate your palm 7 times clockwise direction. अपना सीधा हाथ सर के ऊपर तालु भाग पे रखेंगे, थोड़ा जोर से दबाएंगे, घड़ी के दिशा में 7 बार फिराएंगे और यहाँ पे हम प्रार्थना करेंगे, Mother, please give me my self-realization. श्री माता जी, कृपा करके मुझे मेरा आत्म साक्षात्कार प्रदान कीजिए. We need to take this prayer 7 times and rotate our palm 7 times clockwise direction on top of our head so that our palm and our head skin can rotate together. हमें ये प्रार्थना 7 बार करना है और हमारा हाथ 7 बार फिराएंगे और बोलेंगे, श्री माता जी कृपा करके मुझे मेरा आत्म साक्षात्कार प्रदान कीजिए। धीरे धीरे दोनों हाथ हम गोद में लेंगे। Slowly we'll take our both the hand back to our lap and we'll do a meditation for few seconds. अब धीरे धीरे हम अपनी आंखें खोलेंगे, धीरे धीरे slowly we can open our eyes. धीरे धीरे हम अपनी आंखें खोलेंगे, slowly we can open our eyes and we can see on our both the palm and top of our head if we are getting some cool or hot breeze. हमें अपने दोनों हाथों पे और सर के तालू भाग पे देखना है कि कुछ ठंडा या गर्म महसूस हो रहा है या नहीं। अब मैं सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, अगर आप अपने कैमरा 2 मिनट के लिए ऑन कर सकते हो, जो भी पॉसिबल है, you all can start your camera just for 1 or 2 minutes and the remaining step we will do together. So what you need to do, put your right hand on top of your head like this. So thank you, Srinivasan sir, I can see you. So perfectly right. So thank you, Sheikh sir. So move your right hand top of your head like this. Move up, move down, left, right, and see if you can feel the cool or hot breeze coming from your head. You need to move little up, down, left, right, and see if you can able to feel the cool or hot breeze. Now take your right hand back to your left, try with the left hand. See if you can able to feel this cool or hot breeze coming from your head. So it is very minute experience. You need to feel that experience. Move little up, down, left, right. See if you can able to feel that. I request you all participants if you can switch on. So HK, Dora sir, you are doing perfectly fine. Sheikh sir, I can able to see you. Mishra sir, I can able to see you. Yeah, Naveen sir, thank you for switching on. I can see you. Now take left hand back to your lap and try with the right hand again. Move your right hand up. Move your right hand up again. And see if you can able to feel a cool or hot breeze coming from your head. Now raise your both the hand toward the sky like this. Stretch your both the arm. Raise your both the arm toward the sky. As much as you can raise. Stretch your both the arm. And here you need to ask one question in your heart. You need to move your head little backside, face it toward the sky, and you will ask, मदर, इज दिस द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन? क्या यही आत्म साक्षात्कार की अनुभूति है? And slowly we can take our both the hand in front of our heart like this. We'll do namaskar like this, the way we used to do namaskar. And slowly we can open our palm like this. धीरे धीरे अपने दोनों हाथों को खोलना है, पास लाना है, खोलना है, पास लाना है. Did you feel some type of cool or hot breeze? So I can see Naveen sir is doing perfectly fine. Thank you, Sheikh sir. धीरे धीरे करना है. We need to do very slowly. Thank you, Professor Ashok sir, Srinivasan sir. Did you feel some cool or hot breeze? Okay, so thank you for switching on your camera on our request. Now you can switch off your camera. So here we completed our practical part. So thank you very much. We did a very good session. So now I request you all participant, if you have any question, you can feel free to ask us, and we are going to address you. Our lot of Sahaja Yoga practitioner today join with us, so they can help you. They will going to help us in addressing your question. Like Professor Ashok Mishra, he is practicing from last 25 years. Also Neha Jaiswal from Mumbai, she is also practicing, and many other volunteer has joined today. So I request you all Sahaja Yoga volunteer, they can post their name in the chat so people can ask you the question. I will request you all participant, if you can start asking the question, that will be very great. And also I'm putting one feedback form. If you fill this feedback form, we will share you the PPT, music, and more information to you on particularly for Sahaja Yoga on this. Once you fill this feedback form, and we will send you over email and WhatsApp and much more information. So any question, specific question, like if you have blood pressure, diabetes, heart problem, or any other issue, we can address that issue specifically. Because of time constraint today, we could not able to take the foot soak technique. That is a very good technique to remove the toxic from your body, but definitely we are going to take it in future. So you want to add anything, Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra, till the people are asking question, or Neha, or any other volunteer who joined?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes,
Sir,
go ahead.
is there any specific timing when we should do this? Which is the best time rather to carry out this?
So thank you, sir. This is a very good question. Actually, you can do this technique anytime in the day. There is no restriction, and there is no restriction like how much time we should do. As much as you are comfortable, but start with the 10 minutes. The only requirement is like if you have taken a breakfast, dinner, or lunch, just wait for 30 minutes, because that time your food digestion process is going on and your liver is in a working state. So we recommend you to wait for 30 minutes after taking any food. Rest of the time you can do any time, and the best time is whenever you wake up, 5 to 10 minutes whenever you wake up, and night whenever you are going for sleep, 5 to 10 minutes. If you do this regularly, within 8 or 10 days, you can see the inner transformation will happen within you. Like your anger will be reduced. If you have any health problem, that will slowly start reducing. We find that the people who have a blood pressure and diabetes, they have a lot of improvement in 8 days of regular meditation. Today, foot soak technique I could not able to explain you, but I will, those who fill the feedback form, we will definitely send a foot soak technique. So this will remove all the toxic. So thank you, sir, for your because of your question.
Sir, I have one question, sir. I am Dr. Shivaram Krishna.
Yes.
The question is, what are the precautions to be taken for a person who is suffering with BP and spondylitis when you perform this?
Okay, so this is also very good question, sir. So the people who are suffering from BP or spinal cord issue, they don't need to worry at all, because we are not doing any kind of exercise. It's just a meditation or a thoughtless awareness. You just need to close your eyes and concentrate on top of your head. So there is no effort is required, no physical effort is required. Whichever comfortable position is for you, you can sit on a chair, you can sit on a ground in a Padmasana or Sukhasana and just meditate for a few minutes. If you start doing this regularly, basically for the BP people, you need to do the meditation along with the foot soak. So if you do regularly, even after maybe 15 days or 20 days, you will see there is a tremendous improvement in your blood pressure. Even one of my friend in Pune, he is completely cured with the blood pressure. And there are a lot of hospitals where a lot of patients get cured with the meditation technique, this Sahaja Yoga meditation technique. So that hospital is in Mumbai, Delhi, Noida, and other part of the world. And these all are the free. They don't charge anything. They will just teach you the meditation technique, what we discussed just now. And you need to do a regular meditation. So don't worry, there is no side effect, there is no problem. You can do meditation and it will resolve your BP problem.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so can BP be cured totally with this technique? Yes, BP can be totally cured with this technique. I have multiple examples. So you can cure BP completely. So feel free to ask multiple questions. We have our expert team with Professor Ashok Kumar Mishra, Neha Jaiswal, Swati, and some more. They can answer you. So anyone want to add anything? Like Professor Ashok Kumar Mishra, you are there. You want to add anything? Or Neha, you want to add anything?
Yeah, thank you for joining, everybody. And just want to add one point that regularity is really important in all the things that we do. So even if you've got this today, I would suggest just be with it, be patient with yourself, try doing it for a month or so, and before you start experiencing any good results out of it. So even if you take a medication, doctor prescribes you for certain point of amount of time, right? So even this technique, you need a regular practice. With regular practice, obviously you will notice the benefits in your own life. So I think the Google Forms being shared, if you want to continue this, and Sage Yoga sessions are free all over the world, always free. So just don't hesitate. If you like doing meditation, please do click on the Google Forms and join us for more free online sessions. So thank you.
So thank you, Neha, for sharing the thing. So we request you all do follow the proper step. Also, I'm posting you one small video on foot soak. So because of time limitation, we could not complete, but this is a very good technique. You can just follow this YouTube video and you can learn this technique. You can use this technique with the meditation, but the meditation is the main thing. This technique we need to use with the meditation. If you start using this technique, those people who has a problem with the blood pressure, sugar, aging issue, also the lethargy issue or a stress issue, they need to do the regular foot soak along with the meditation to get the quick relief. Okay. So any more question? So if there is, we encourage you to, if you have any question, feel free to ask us. And hope you will fill the feedback form also. So till now I don't see much feedback form filled by you. If you fill the feedback form, we will get feedback like how did you feel in today's session. So just now I guess Dr. LM Sabru sir has filled the feedback form. They feel peaceful, that is very good. They feel hot on their palm, that is okay, sir. So if you regular practice, you will start getting a cool breeze. So in many meetings I get the answer like what is the difference between hot and cool breeze, but since today no one has asked me. Someone asked asked me question, can you please take a session in my YouTube channel also? Yes, sir. Vinod, sir, yes, we can take the session on your YouTube channel also. Maybe if you can share your contact detail, we can connect you, or I have posted my mobile number. You can contact me and we can have this kind of session on your YouTube channel also. So no problem. Any more question? So one more point is like this exercise can be done by all people, children, senior people, senior citizen, or any age is a no restriction. Anyone can do this exercise. Okay, so there is if you didn't get the feedback form, I will post once again. So this is the feedback form. So we sincerely thanks to Srinivasan sir for inviting us in today's session. Thank you very much, sir, for giving this opportunity. Also, thank you all the participants who are with us in this today's session. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you the organizing team. Over to you, Srinivasan sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes,
Any
sir.
food restrictions are there in this? Food restriction, like
No.
vegetarian, non-vegetarian?
No. There is no food restriction. There is no do's and don'ts. You can enjoy your life the way you are enjoying right now. Just you need to do a meditation. That's it. No food restriction.
Okay.
So
Okay, thank you, sir.
sir. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us and enlighten us about the. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. If the
Thank you.
participants have given any feedback, you can have contact. One of the participants, Vinod Nasri, has asked you to share your number. So I'm sharing the number so that they wanted to have a YouTube channel contact. So you
Okay.
can interact with him. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all participants, and hope you will practice the Sahaja Yoga meditation. And feel free to contact us anytime.
Thank you. Thank you, one and all. One more announcement. Tomorrow, there is a slight change in the schedule, but on Friday, there is a session from 9 o'clock onwards because there is a Ayudha Puja going on in all organizations. That's the reason why we'll have a session from 9 to 10:30. Instead of 10, we'll be starting from 9 itself. So that's a small change. Already posted in the group. You can see the change in the schedule and join us on Friday. Okay. Tomorrow, as per as is the schedule, there is a small change in the speakers. Already I have given in the WhatsApp group. So please follow. So good evening to all of you. Let us meet tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Feedback form will be posted. You can fill the details. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other clarifications or anything else? Thank you, one and all.
అది ఏం చేస్తున్నారు అది
అయిపోయింది మీటింగ్
మీటింగ్